Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every show off, with the moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, so the fact that you're spending with us truly does mean the world to me. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cotton, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right. So we have a fun episode today. We are going to be chatting with a long-term resident of Fort McMurray. Tons of stories. There's more stories than we're going to be able to tell in 20 minutes, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, as you already know, I do not introduce my guests. I let them do that themselves because they can do a better job than I. So on that note, can you please introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are?
Good morning. I'm Florence Weeber, and my family moved here in 1958.
There we go.
My father worked at the Air Force Base, and we lived in Anzac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So Air Force Base, I don't think a lot of people in Fort McMurray would know about that now, but it used to have military here in Fort McMurray.
Correct, yeah.
That's right. Between the Air Force Base and they had the trains that used to come through. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they used to run exercises at Makwa Lake. Like you have Gregoire and then you have a little hidden gem that not a lot of people know about, but Makwa. But I was told back in the day they used to like run different kind of training simulations out there too.
I was too young. I don't know about that.
Okay. So you have had a very interesting life, like everybody, but you used to have a business that was thriving in Fort McMurray. People loved it, and you've moved into retirement right now, and when you haven't slowed down. But what was the business that you used to have? What was it called, and what was it about?
I started my framing business in 1991 as a family business. At that time, it was called JCD Frames and More.
Right.
After my 3 kids.
Okay.
And then it grew into a larger framing center, and in around 2012, I met with artists in the community. We had a powwow.
Yeah.
And asked the artists what they wanted.
Yeah.
And that grew into the gallery, Points North Gallery.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a really nice place, and you could support local artists there, and you could see their work, and then you could purchase it as well. But then attached to the store, which always, like, for me was so cool because I can't do it, but you also had like a whole area of like yarn, and you would weave and knit, and it was amazing. So, and it like, anyways, let's talk about that component as well, please. Like, what's that all about?
In 2015,
Yeah.
my friend Lynn had a home-based business selling really beautiful yarn and fiber supplies, and she was moving away. So I kind of got a little excited about her leaving,
Yeah.
anxious rather,
Yeah.
and I just had to carry on with that. So
Yeah.
I just did it. I bought her stock and
Yeah.
increased, just made it into a lovely yarn gallery.
That's right. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And you had, and I don't know what it was called, but you guys had like a machine. And when I say machine, I use the word lightly. So I think people at home are going to think that it's like this technology. It's a piece of wood basically and a wheel,
It's a spinning wheel.
a spinning wheel. And you used to like, it could manufacture its own yarn
You
basically.
could spin fiber
Yeah.
into yarn.
Unbelievable. But I remember
Right.
I would come in on like a weekend, just like poke around and look at things, and you'd have women there knitting and somebody sitting at this wheel. Like,
Not just women.
did you have a lot of men that used to
Yes,
come in?
men. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now Point North, you're retired. I went,
Points North, yes.
but you're not done. So what are you doing
No,
now?
I'm not.
You're not
I
done by
have,
any means.
I have a little house downtown, and in the garage of that house is where all my frames were cut and joined and built.
Right.
And now once I get that cleaned out, I'm going to clean it all up and paint it nice and open a community fiber arts studio
Okay.
so people will have a location to come to learn how to knit and spin and weave.
Oh, wow. That's
I'm
awesome.
really excited about it.
No doubt.
Yeah,
That's going to be a lot of fun.
it really will. And
Okay.
I know it will grow because there's been so much interest in that area that
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
just, I don't know what's going to happen to it, but it's going to really be lovely.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mm.
So, what is it about you that keeps you going with these businesses and keeping busy and being out in the community after all these years?
Well, I think the bottom line is I love to work with my hands,
Right,
and my passion right now is fiber.
right,
And I've got so many friends that also work with fiber and love the whole process.
right.
And I just need to keep surrounding myself with like minded people.
That's right.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Very cool. Now, these like minded people that you have accumulated over the years, how have they found you in regards to like my mom knows you very well. And so it's just one of those things where most of the viewers at home, um, they have the internet. They have these groups that they can join. They can find people. They can find you easily. How have you accumulated these friends over the years in Fort McMurray? Like, how do you bump into these people and get them in your inner
I
circle?
talk lots.
You talk lots. Me too.
Yeah. Um, I'm just pretty friendly and I approach people and share my passion. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Now, in Fort McMurray, you've seen tremendous changes over the years. What would you say is like one of the biggest things that is for you in Fort McMurray that has been like a visual big change in the community? Like I know for me, it's Mac Island, for example. Like, 'cause I remember what Mac Island used to look like back in the day and what it is now. And nobody, unless you look at that historical wall that's in there, it's mind blowing. So, what's something in Fort McMurray that you're just like, wow, that was not here when I was here, when I first got here?
I think often about Franklin Avenue
Okay.
because when I was going to school, I went to Peter Pond High. I graduated in 1972. A lot of Franklin Avenue was still bush.
Really?
Yeah, like where Tamarack Center is, with
Yes.
McDonald's and that Freshie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was all bush.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. So Franklin Avenue has changed for you.
right. Well, and then years prior, it was all mud.
Right.
When we would come in to shop at Haxton's General Store, it was basically just mud.
Really?
Mm.
Huh. Yeah, I don't remember that. That's fascinating. My mom tells me the airport, that when I chat with her about like the biggest changes, her own is the airport because my parents moved here in 1977, if I'm not correct. 1976 or 1977, one of the two. And she said like it just used to be a trailer.
Yeah.
And she flew in from Toronto and she touched down and she's thinking,
Yikes.
what is this? Like
Right.
her story is so funny, heartbreaking at the time, funny in retrospect now. But yeah, she says like the airport just used to be a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So did our hospital.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
My
Northern Lights
sisters
Regional.
were
Yeah.
born in the hospital.
Yeah. Okay. So where did your parents immigrate from? Like where did they come?
Edmonton,
They came from Edmonton to here.
big move.
Yeah. So why did they? Why Fort McMurray? What was like?
Probably for work,
Yeah,
Just
like
like-
most people.
the rest of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is, I have to ask, what keeps you here?
Oh, I have a relationship with the Clearwater River.
Okay. All right. Do
Oh
you?
yeah, oh yeah, I love that river, and I kayak on it as often as I can. Yeah,
Okay.
and then we lived across the river
Okay.
in the early '90s. That's where my kids grew up.
Right.
So we would take a boat back and forth.
That's right.
Hmm.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
river keeps you here.
Oh, I love that river and the north,
Yeah.
the air here and the people.
Yeah. Because you fall into a bracket like my parents. I think growing up here, most adults who came here had a retirement plan of leaving Fort McMurray. When I'm done, I'm moving somewhere else. And that seemed to be the pattern that most people did. And then all of a sudden there became this generation, and you're in it, who was just like, no, no, no. Why would I go anywhere else? This is where my friends are. This is where my family is. This is my community. I'm not going anywhere. And my parents have decided to do the same thing. But now I'm seeing that more and more people are actually retiring in Fort McMurray, which I think is great, especially for me with the kid. Like, my parents are here. They get a great relationship with him.
That's important.
Built-in babysitters.
Well, build family.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any grandchildren?
No.
No? Oh, you got to
No.
yell at your kids.
I have 3 children. No, they're not ready.
Yeah.
When they're ready.
Then you'll have them. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are your kids now?
My oldest son, Casey, is here in McMurray.
Okay.
Dawson is in Edmonton.
Okay.
And Jessica's in Calgary.
Oh, she's close to Alicia then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they see one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate that we're all like together.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, we're at a part of the show. It's called the Mac City Minute. So this is Tanner's segment. Get ready for it. Tanner's going to ask you 5 questions. I don't know what he's going to ask you. So best of luck with the Mac City Minute.
Thank you.
Okay, Tanner, hit it with the Mac City Minute.
Question number 1. What do you remember from your first time coming to Fort McMurray?
I remember coming on the train. It was Easter, and I had on my little white Easter gloves and my little white hat.
Okay, that's a great memory.
Question number 2. What is the most interesting piece of art you've seen in Fort McMurray?
Oh my God. How can I answer that?
It's like asking who your favorite kid is.
Most interesting piece of art. I love the sculpture on the way to Mac Island. Oh, Lordy, that's a big question.
It's a hard one.
There's so many incredible pieces of art. I like the piece of art outside of Earl's by Amy.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I have most recently purchased a piece of art. It's a beadwork.
Okay.
It's the most incredible beadwork I've ever seen.
Okay.
Designed and created by Treasure Cooper.
Okay.
It is so beautiful. There's a photograph on it on the front cover of the Northward
Okay.
latest issue,
Yeah.
Solstice. Yeah, that is stunning.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh man,
That's a hard question.
it's a big question.
There you go. Tanner, next question, my man.
Question number 3. What was it like to celebrate Fort McMurray turning from a village to a town?
I remember that. I remember being at the fire hall when they made the announcement of it being renamed, of the town being renamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big celebration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 4. What is your favorite way to spend time in or around the river?
In my kayak, listening to the birds, and I pick berries along the way when I can see them overhanging.
Nice.
And your final question. What was your favorite part of raising your kids in Fort McMurray?
The bush.
And those have been your 5 questions.
What about the bush? You guys went and walked in the trails, or?
Well, we lived across the river,
That's right.
so we were in the bush. And when it was raining, Jess and I would go and walk in the rain in the puddles.
Yeah. Nice.
And the kids would float down the river in the summer and
Right.
play on the sandbar.
Yeah.
And our little black lab would keep them all contained and safe. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. I've always wondered, how did you make it across the river? Because like the town didn't expand over there.
Oh, well, we own the land. Weber's Weebers bought that land
Yeah.
in 1970.
Right.
And then they built a log home, and this is the old man and his wife.
Yeah.
And then we purchased and bought into the land in 1990 and moved a house across the ice
Right.
in March of 1991.
Okay. That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like your house was so tucked away, it was hard. Like you had pure seclusion.
So beautiful.
And yeah, it was just, but it was so cool. It was just like, for me, it like, I love to daydream and imagine about things, right? And so you'd be on the Clearwater and you'd be hanging around. You see this house in the woods and you're just like, ooh, daydreaming. And I just remember like just looking one time and my mom being like, I know who lives in that house. I'm like, what? You do? Who's that? That person must be so cool. And like, yeah, so yeah, you guys were trailblazers in regards to living off the grid, but in the grid. Really neat.
Yeah, we had our own water supply coming down from the hills behind.
Yeah.
And we did have ATCO Electric.
Yeah.
I think it was called Alberta Power when they initially set it up.
Okay.
And then our wood source was pellet heat.
Okay.
And we had a wood burning central vac,
Yeah.
central whatever you call it.
Right, right.
Yeah, that would heat the house with wood. So it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
It was just a little house,
Right.
1,200 square feet,
Right.
and it was beautiful.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is so nice. Your kids must have just loved that.
Yeah, we always, I loved it especially because the kids could bring their friends over.
Right.
And then we'd make really great food and the kids would play outside and
Yeah.
it was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that house definitely got my imagination going as a child for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So when you came to Fort McMurray initially, like the one thing that you talked about, which I think is hilarious, your memory is the train. Can you talk about the train? Because I guarantee you, most of the viewing audience has no idea that there used to be a train to Fort McMurray. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. My brother and I would come to school on the train.
Okay.
When I was in grade 1. And I was really little, I guess, of course.
Yeah.
And the conductor on the train had a hook hand. I remember him. He was so kind. He was such a nice man, and he looked after me.
Yeah.
And Rodney and I would come across, well, we'd leave Anzac on a Sunday and then come by train. And we stayed with a family in Waterways
Right.
that had 9 kids.
Yeah.
And we just added to that, and we all lived together and had great food again.
That's awesome. So this
Yeah.
train, like, it stopped in Fort McMurray? Did it go any further than Fort
No.
McMurray? This was the end of the rail.
Waterways.
Waterways. That's
Yeah.
not to Fort McMurray. That's correct, Tanner. Good call. That's another thing that a lot of people kind of miss. That like Waterways was it.
Yes.
There was no Fort McMurray.
That's right.
Right.
Waterways was it. And so that train, it ended in Fort McMurray, but you could go all the way to Edmonton and further on that train. When we're gonna have to fact check this later on. Sorry, we're horrible at fact checking here, but I wonder when that train stopped operation to Fort McMurray. Was that? It must have been in the
60s.
yeah.
I want to say the 60s. I won't quote that.
Yeah,
But I think around
a
then.
long time ago.
Do you know we still have rails that come in?
Yes, we do still have rails, and
Well,
for
they lifted all the rails in Draper.
right.
But
That's
we
all gone.
active rail system. If you drive out to like South Bray Creek, the airport area,
Yeah.
if you look just through the bushes, there's an actual laydown yard for trains and stuff. It's not a person train, but they bring in materials and stuff on it,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
outside of town.
Yeah, they ship stuff like for the oil and gas industry up here, yeah. But like it's so far removed from town now. Like you said, the Draper
Yeah.
trails have, and then there used to be down in Waterways. I don't know.
Where the berm is now,
Yeah,
there used to be a building, and that was the train station
that's
for
right.
Fort McMurray.
I wonder why they decommissioned that or took it down. It was such a nice historical landmark.
It burned.
Oh, did it burn? Is that what happened? Oh, there we go. They didn't decommission it. The fire took care of it. Yeah,
Not this far.
another one.
Previous. Yeah, some kids were playing
Oh,
around. And
okay.
it just unfortunately caught on fire.
Oh,
Yeah,
silly kids.
yeah,
Tricks are for kids.
Yeah, tricks are for kids.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Florence, that's it. This is the show. Just you and me talking. So I want to thank you. I've wanted to have you on for a long time, but you're such a busy lady. And then you were winding down points north, so like the scheduling didn't work. So thank you for making the time. I know my mother can't stop talking when I told her that you were coming. She's, I can't wait to see that episode. So my mom and my sister say hello.
Thank you.
And they're going to be watching at home right now. I know that. But before we let you go, shameless plug that happens at the end. Can you please tell people once again about your new business? You don't have it yet, but it's coming. So what is it all about? And when it comes, how can people find you and support it?
It's a community fiber art studio.
Okay.
I'm not sure when I'll be starting up because there's so much work to be done prior. I've got to clean my garage out.
Right.
But I'm really hoping to have it like by fall
Okay.
this year.
Right.
And I guess social media.
Okay.
And I think it's just going to be called the Community Fiber Art Studio.
Keep it simple.
Come and learn how to weave and spin fiber and knit, crochet, needlepoint, all of that good stuff.
Nice. Okay. Well, when you open it up, you can come back on the show and we'll promote it and get everybody come into your garage new setup. So
Thank you, Elliot.
Let's go make a Mac City blanket.
oh, 100%. No, it's one of those things. I'm not joking. I'm going to come and I'm going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very interested. Like, I like toques and socks and stuff. And
Oh,
if I
yeah.
could like knit my own stuff with like the colors I want,
Absolutely.
I'm in. So
It's so beautiful.
yeah, we'll be coming. Me and Tanner, we'll come check it out.
Excellent.
Cool.
I've already got one fellow signed up to learn how to weave.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's helping me.
There we go. All right. Well, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, this has been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. It's been a great show. Florence, thank you so much for coming. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Elliot.
Cool.
Thank you, Tanner.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, everybody at home, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.